I'm not gonna be den mother for you guys.
I swear to God, this will be the last Dawn of the Dead video I'll release for a long while. And I hope you folks aren't too sick and tired of these character exposés, but I wanted to do at least one spotlight on each of the four main players in the movie. I've already released videos on Flyboy, Peter, Roger, Flyboy and Fran, and a formal review of the movie itself, so that makes 5, and leaves Fran as the last one standing, which is only fitting since she was the one flying the chopper out of there in the final scene. Before we continue, I just wanted to ask you to stick around at the end of the video, as I'm including, for your benefit, should a zombie outbreak ever occur in your area, a great recipe for breaded Spam cutlets. I think the reason why I've done all these videos is because there aren't too many movies quite like it in horror, where a small core group of actors each provide such dynamic angles to the plot that you can't imagine the movie turning out as good as it did had they not been there. Other good examples of this would be The Evil Dead and The Shining. The 2005 remake was great in its own right, but man, there was a lot of people stuck in that mall. You couldn't get emotionally attached to their plight in quite the same way as the original, and it became more of a body count horror movie as we wondered how many would actually escape from those running zombies, which was a nice update from the slow and lumbering ones, I had to admit. On to Fran. It's kind of unclear what her actual role was in that TV station when we first see her. There were so many people running around, creating havoc, that it was tough to really know who was supposed to be doing what, but it looked like she was some kind of floor director. Despite the chaos around her, she seemed like she knew what she was doing. Gayleen Ross, undeterred by the lack of acting experience she had at the time, had the presence of mind to at least go to bat for the character and inform Romero that she didn't want to play the damsel in distress and just be there to scream. She wanted to be a part of the solution as best she could, and when Peter told her she had to learn to shoot and learn to fight, she did just that. She could have just stayed sheltered inside and learned how to cook Spam cutlets, but she was up on that roof of the mall with a rifle, plucking off zombies, and utters what I think is one of only 2 or 3 times in the entire movie the F-bomb was dropped. She actually says motherfucker, which I can't say for sure if that was a first for an actress in a motion picture, but probably pretty close. When Roger gets bitten and infected with the zombie virus, she does seem to be the one to tend primarily to his needs, but this was in no way an act of kitchen submission, but more out of just human decency and kindness. Without repeating much of what I stated in the video released about her relationship with Flyboy, I did want to do a quick pass over on it. No sooner does Steven show his value by proudly pointing out the ventilator shaft by the elevator than he wants to be a SWAT team trooper himself, just like Peter and Roger. And I hate dumping all over a likable character in a movie I love, but Flyboy was just not macho enough to run alongside Peter. He was a good pilot, but that was where his skill sets pretty much ended as far as zombie survival goes. He needed a lot of work if he was going to be Peter's wingman after Roger died, and Peter did what he could to get that nerd up to speed, but he's weighing food he's getting for free, for Christ's sake. Someone please talk to him. At first, I thought Fran was just being bitchy, but the more virile Steven acted, the more she seemed to resent him because it simply wasn't in his nature. So who can blame her really for turning down that marriage proposal? I did feel, however, that when he took her picture in the department store, there was no need for her to snap at him the way she did. Much as it made me laugh, it was uncalled for. But in the very next scene, they're either gearing up for or just ending what I'm sure was a gripping round of sex, Flyboy style. So at least they held on to that. Steven goes rogue on Peter, which leads to his eventual zombification, which is something we all saw coming. So based on that and a few other things, I would have to place Fran a few rungs higher in the importance category. She keeps her wits intact for the entire movie, improves her skills without changing who she was, and elevates herself by virtue of that to someone who could handle any horrors that waited for them once they flew away from that mall. It's a shame that when Romero cast her in Creepshow, he buried her up to her neck on a beach and drowned her, which could be a metaphor for what he thought of her acting skills and only cast her out of obligation and keeping costs down. Not trying to start a rumor here, but why else would he cast her as a co-lead in one movie and then reduce her to virtual summer stock status in the next one when he could have given her a more prominent role? It's not like he offered something better to her and she said, "Nah, I don't want to earn more money. Just stick me somewhere where nobody will recognize me." Wonder if she would have made a good Billy.
Henry, goddammit!
Anyway, hats off to you, Fran. You were steadfast and strong and proved you were nobody's den mother. Don't forget to hang out for a moment for that amazing and life-changing recipe for some breaded Spam cutlets. Thank you for watching as always, and we'll see you at the next slaughtering. Bye now.